How is everybody doing today? In this video, we are going to be talking about one of our brand new characters coming in 3.0. After we've already talked about Herta, we got two more characters to talk about. One that is going to be free and the other is not, because the other one is going to be Aglaea. Now, Aglaea, I'm not going to lie, is going to be a very exciting character for a lot of different people, especially if you've already summoned, I guess you could say, her counterpart very early on, which was, of course, Sunday. As we know, Sunday is going to be the summon meta character for the most part, as he can not only boost himself, or not himself, he can boost the character that he is using with his skill, but he can also boost up the summon as well. So this can really ramp up the craziness that we can see when it comes to having characters like Aglaea and maybe other Remembrance characters coming out in the future. Again, there are going to be some things that we do need to talk about in regards to Aglaea coming out, like what she does. Also, not only that, some of the, I guess you could say, conditions that she's going to need when it comes to her teammates, because as you may know, her being a Remembrance character means that she has very limited availability when it comes to the icons that she's going to have. Even though we are, if I'm not wrong, getting a free one, we also have to note that there are going to be some characters that are going to be part of other teams that may work with Aglaea the best. But going ahead and talking about Aglaea, she's just going to be a regular DPS that has a summon. She uses her skill to summon her summon and then not only that, she is going to be increasing her speed constantly alongside the summon itself. That way they're able to attack non-stop. It seems like this character is going to be a ramping up character, or a character that takes time to absolutely get disgusting. And I'm not gonna lie, with that being said, the way they mentioned it in the stream, it does seem a little weird when it comes to Aglaea and what she's able to do versus a lot of the stuff in the game at the current moment. I really do think a lot of the stuff in the game not relies on it, because there's a bunch of different ways to play this game, but there are a lot of enemies that get bursted down very quickly, that get turned off in like 0 to 2 turns. And looking at Aglaea, the way that she's going to be ramping up, she's going to get even more disgusting as times go by. What if we're getting bosses or we're getting content where it's just going to be a drawn out fight, where characters like Aglaea are just going to reign supreme over everybody else? That is definitely something we do need to talk about in the future when 3.0 comes out. But as far as we know, having the ability to ramp up no matter what kind of allows her to stay future proof for quite some time, just because if she's constantly doing damage, if she's constantly raising her speed as the battle goes on, and same thing with her summon, this allows her to just do absolutely crazy damage after a certain amount of time, versus what a lot of other characters probably have to wait for their big burst, or they have to do something else for it, while Aglaea is just like speed blitzing everything. She's like taking 10 turns before everybody else, which would be kind of funny. But regardless of that, having Aglaea come out is going to be very exciting, because she will be our first Lightning Remembrance character. And funny enough, even though she is Remembrance, she's kind of competing already with another character, which is going to be Jingyuin. Because as you may know, Sunday is able to boost up Lightning Lord the same way he's able to boost up Jingyuin, and the same thing goes for Aglaea and her summon as well. So there is a lot of stuff to look at when it comes to Aglaea and Jingyuin and a lot of the other competition that she is going to have. I do think realistically, as a new character, especially a 3.0 character, a new Remembrance character, I would assume Aglaea would be better than Jingyuin off rip. Of course, if that's not the case, that'd be kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie to you. But the main thing is to talk about some of her teams that she's gonna have. Realistically, she is just gonna be a regular Hypercarry DPS, but is related to summon. So somebody like Sunday is already a shoo-in for the team. If you've already had Sunday, that's a really good thing for your Aglaea, because this means not only you're able to boost her, you're also able to boost her summon, which allows them both to act, which is absolutely amazing. There are gonna be some other substitutions, of course, but probably not the best, which are going to be characters like Bronya, characters like Sparkle. That will be nice. But other than that, there are going to be characters like another advanced forward character, which, remember what the stream said. Remember what the stream said in 2.7. They said that memo sprites or summons are going to be able to be affected by other buffs. So this means characters like Aventurine and his buff, or his talent, where he's able to give shields to everybody on the team. And not only that, every single time somebody gets attacked, you're able to also get a stack. This means that someone like Aventurine as well, I like how we immediately left Robin, but Aventurine is going to get a huge buff from Aglaea, 100%. And this goes for a lot of the other characters in the game as well. Talking about Remembrance MC in the future as well, he also has a summon. So having somebody like Remembrance MC, maybe even Aglaea on the team, and then having Aventurine, that's 6 people on the field, because that means there's 4 on field and 2 summons. 2 summons count for 2 extra shields, and 2 extra shields taking stacks. Eventually he's going to get his follow-up off literally every turn and enemy attacks if they're AoE. So if that's the case, There's going to be a lot of characters with the new memo sprite function, with the new summon function, that are just going to absolutely go crazy, just because now that there are more enemies on the field, or there are more allies on the field, there's just going to be so much more value to give. So this means characters that Aventurine are going to be absolutely disgusting, including someone like Sunday, and even more so someone like Robin. If Robin is able to boost up those memo sprites up to the top alongside the summon E, or the person that summoned them, that means they're going to be able to use a whole suite of attack buffs, whole suite of crit buffs, all that different type of stuff, and not only that, be able to have that extra turn to allow them to ramp up a little quicker, which makes them absolutely absurd. And this can go on for a lot more. This can even go towards someone like REHOO, for someone like Aglaea, able to give not only the memo sprite the weakness, toughness, efficiency, but also to give Aglaea the same thing, because she does have her enhanced basic attack, which helps her allow her to be able to boost her speed and also her ultimate as well. There's just a lot of stuff right now that seems really great when it comes to buffing out a lot of the characters, although some of them are already really good. Like I'm talking about follow-up for Robin. She has been absolutely amazing. Aventurine the same way, really great character for follow-up. Sunday is just an overall really great general support, although he is pretty much been waiting for the next summon character. But these characters, not gonna lie, they've been part of different teams, and we don't know realistically how these other teams are going to fare in 3.0, like the break team, like the follow-up team. It does seem like the follow-up team is already going to be good compared to what we saw in the stream with the Herda, but Aglaea specifically, we're gonna have a lot of characters that are gonna overlap with the other teams that they may want to be a part of, but Aglaea's gonna have to take them away. So we're gonna have to see a lot of the meta changes with Aglaea's inclusion, but we also have to talk about Aglaea being a new path. We're also gonna have to say that the Lycones are gonna be very spare for this character, just because we probably are getting a free one if I'm not wrong, and then not only that, her signature, so there's not really a crap ton of room for, I guess you could say, if and so of what you're going to choose for a Lycone. It is going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do with that. I do think as time goes by, they're just going to keep on bringing more 4-star Lycones for Remembrance, because this will be a big portion of 3.0. As we know, they're going to flesh out this path and also the summon archetype in whole, with the inclusion of Aglaea, with the inclusion of Sunday earlier, and 2 other characters that might come. I'm 100% thinking that characters like a abundance or preservation character with a summon, maybe with like a character with a shield or something, would end up happening. It would be some really cool stuff to see. So Aglaea realistically isn't an insane character to talk about, just because she is, again, like I said, part of the summon meta, but the summon meta is really just the hypercarry meta at the current moment. We kind of don't have anything else to talk about when it comes to the implications of what she can do in the meta, just because she does follow the same conditions as a hypercarry, where she's of course gonna want a character like Sunday, maybe even want a character like Robin, and could potentially even use a character like REHOO to help her with her ultimate and gain some more speed. So there's gonna be a bunch of teams where you're just hyper buffing, you're just buffing the crap out of these characters, or maybe even using Remembrance MC, who we definitely need to talk about. That is a lot more important to talk about, just because of what he has in his kit, which I think is absolutely insane that we're seeing true damage in Honkai style. I'm not gonna lie to you. So other than that, Aglaea overall regular hypercarry support is going to be boosted up by 2 different either debuffers, 2 different buffers, and then a healer that's able to give some type of buff like REHOO for the energy, or Aventurine for the extra ally on the field, which has a shield. It's gonna be very exciting to see. I also do wonder how tanky the memo sprites are, and also how much damage they can take in before they unsummon, because I do think that could be a cause for concern. But with the way a lot of these sustains are in the game, like Linksha, like Aventurine, you're really not gonna have to worry about that anyway. But other than that, that's pretty much it for Aglaea. There's not really much else to talk about in regards to her kit, in regards to implications in the game. So other than that, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I do want to talk about Trailblazer very soon, because I do think he probably is one of the more important characters of this patch to talk about, and he's absolutely free. So that means not only are we going to get a really good support for our MC, but a free one at that. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.